Hello, this is Ashley Applegate on the couch with KWI. Today I'm joined by Dylan Elgin. Dylan, where are you from?
I'm from Campbellsburg, Indiana.
Okay, so about how far away is that?
About 3.5 hours.
Okay, so obviously you're not commuting into KWI. You're moved here, lived here. Tell us about your housing experience here.
I'm doing the housing through living in one of the houses.
You got several roommates that you live with?
I've got one roommate in my room, and there's a few guys in the house.
Okay.
Quite a few.
All right, so y'all just kind of run wild like you would in a college town, or is it pretty tame because you got lots of training to do?
It's pretty tame. There's not much you can do in this town.
Okay, so that's good. Small town America. So any of the staff members help you out with that housing to get that secured?
Yeah, whenever I applied for KWI, they helped set it all up.
Okay, all right, so that's good. So you didn't have to spend your time and try to find a place and check them all out. Everything was here ready to go for you.
Yep.
On day one. So you could have chosen dozens of other welding schools. What made you choose Kentucky Welding Institute?
I chose Kentucky Welding Institute because of the certifications. They offer a lot of certifications, and the time is 6 months, pretty quick to turn around and be able to go straight into the workforce.
So speaking of those certifications, what do you think was the hardest one that challenged you while you were a student?
I'd say the hardest certification that I got was the Stick-Out Monster.
So when you're talking about a stick-out monster, for a layman who doesn't understand what that means, what is a stick-out monster?
Well, it's a monster coupon. It's 2-inch pipe. It's about a 1/2 inch thick, and I put a 60-10 root in and then filled it out with 70-18 to the cap.
Okay. And you do that all with the right hand, or?
You do half the pipe with the right hand and the other half with the left hand.
Okay. So just a normal test in that 6G position?
No, it had a restriction ring on it.
Okay, so what's a restriction ring, and how does that help you or hurt you?
Well, the restriction ring, it really hurts you more than it helps you, but it's just a bigger ring they put around the top of the bevel, so you can't put a lot of beads on it, and it also, you can't get super close to it. It's harder to get your grinder into it where you couldn't grind something off.
Okay, so when you're taking that particular certification, you challenge yourself, or the instructors challenge you in the program, and that AWS card comes out as a 6GR with that restriction. So that may make your resume float up to the top just a little bit when those contractors are looking for you. Other than welding, what other credentials have you earned at KWI?
Well, they offer the NCCO, the riggers, and OSHA 30, and I think there's a few others. I'm not remember off the top of my head.
So that OSHA 30, 30 hours of construction safety training, safety on par at KWI, or can anybody just do what they want?
No, it's on par.
Okay. All right, so always wearing glasses, face shields, doing what we need to do there?
Yep.
Okay. Now, when you're doing that OSHA 30 and some of these other credentials you mentioned, how much of your time spent at KWI was in the classroom versus in the shop?
3 months in the classroom, and the rest is in the shop.
Okay.
So just half of it, and an hour a day in the classroom.
Okay, so I don't spend 8 hours a day in the classroom, just 1 hour
Yep, 1
a
hour.
day.
And it's usually the hour right before lunch.
Okay, that hour right before lunch, so that gets you out, though you're not sleepy. If it was the hour after lunch, it may not work out.
Makes you eager.
Yeah, ready to go, ready to get things done. Is it intense, fast-paced, or pretty laid back?
I'd say it's pretty fast-paced rather than laid back.
Okay. Lots of term papers and research papers and things like that you had to do?
No, there's not many papers. There's a few papers just for practicing, getting used to it, but elsewise it's all at KWI. Whenever you get there, you're done by the end of the day.
Okay, so everything is related to the industry to get you those next jobs and those next things. So, if you could look back and tell yourself on day 2 when I started, make sure you do this instead of that, what advice would you give yourself?
I'd say go in early every day.
All right, so go in early. What shift were you on?
I was on second shift.
Second shift, and what are the hours for second shift?
2 to 10. 2
to 10 p.m.
Yep.
All right. So if you were going to come in at say noon and get those extra hours, is that available for you?
Yes, you're allowed to go in as early as 6 a.m. on first shift.
Okay.
Pull 16.
So you can pull a 16-hour day if you want to.
Yep.
So in other words, you had the opportunity to stretch 6 months of training into a year.
Yeah.
If you could muster up that much strength and weld
Yeah.
that whole time. All right. Before you got here, had you welded before?
Yes, I had welded a little bit, not much.
Okay, so some high school welding or something out on the farm? Or?
Little both, yeah.
All right.
Did stick and MIG.
Okay.
Hadn't ever done TIG.
All right, so you'd never done TIG. So how cool was it to open up that TIG rig and fire that up for the first
Pretty
time?
neat.
Right.
For not ever having the experience of no sparks and all that.
Right. So KWI provided you with that TIG rig?
Yep, it comes in the tools that you get when you first come in.
All right.
They supply you with all the tools you should need.
Now when you graduate out, does that stuff go to the next student, or where's that stuff go?
You get to keep it.
Oh, okay. So that's pretty awesome. So we know the TIG rig's there. Quick rundown. What else is in that tool bucket?
You get pliers, chipping hammer, stick, like your electrode for stick welding, and get grinding wheels, all kinds of stuff.
Okay.
there.
Get your own grinder and flow meter and go along with it?
Yep.
Do you think that stuff is important? Walking into that first job, taking that first weld test, how important is it that you walk in with your tools instead of the company tools?
Very important. I think
Okay.
it makes or breaks you.
Yeah, for sure that, because you know your stuff, you're experienced with your own
Yeah.
own tools. And
Some
own
jobs
equipment
probably
there.
won't even offer them to you.
Right, yeah. I know some folks who weld tested before, and they said, nah, if you don't show up ready to go, if you don't have a welding hood,
Yeah.
how are you going to take a weld test? And
Yeah.
I've had that happen on occasion before. Looking at your whole experience for 6 months and thinking about, well, while I'm welding this, man, if this could be my dream job, what would I do? What one job would you always love to have?
I would love to just have a truck with a welder on it and be able to just help anybody. Or
Okay.
just kind of do my own thing more than anything.
All right, so
Anywhere
be
from pipeline or
self-employed?
just on the farm.
Yeah. All right, well, that's pretty awesome.
Yep.
All right. So I want to thank you, Dylan, for taking some time out of your day to join us. And thank you for tuning in. This has been Ashley Applegate, KWI on the Couch.